I woke up from my nap to find myself tied up in a moving truck. It was 6 p.m. on a Thursday, and I'd just come home from school to see my two cats sleeping together on the bed. So I did what any 15-year-old girl would do in that situation. I lay down beside them, took a melatonin gummy, and fell asleep into a depression nap. I expected to wake up at 2 a.m. completely dehydrated. Instead, I woke up around 20 minutes later to find myself in what felt like a moving truck. I couldn't see anything because there was a blanket tied over me, and the second I tried to yank it off, I heard a sound that made my whole body freeze. The click of a gun, unmistakable, right behind my head. "Don't move," a man's voice said. It was calm, like he'd done this before. I stopped breathing. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I tried to scream, but there was duct tape over my mouth. I stayed completely still, trying to think, trying to figure out what to do. That's when the driver's phone rang. He answered it casually, like he was picking up a call from a friend. "Yeah, she's awake now." A pause. "Yep, we're almost there." My stomach turned. I didn't want to find out what there meant. I took a deep breath and tried to think about all the crime shows I've watched before. They always say if you let your kidnappers bring you to a secondary location, you're cooked. But I also knew that thrashing around and trying to scream for help could get me killed. I took another deep breath, and when I thought no one was looking, I slowly moved my hand toward the door handle. Luckily, I found it without him noticing, except it was child locked. Duh, that's when I saw it. My phone. It must have fallen out of my pocket because it was sitting right there under the seat in front of me. I could see the glow of it through a gap in the blanket. I reached for it slowly, inch by inch, barely breathing. When I felt my fingers wrap around it, I had to stop from cheering. I pulled it toward me. There was no service, but I opened my messages anyway and typed out a text to 911. I know that sounds stupid, but I'd heard somewhere that emergency texts can go through even without signal. I sent my location. I sent "kidnapped in a car." I sent "please help me." I watched the little loading circle spin, and then finally delivered. I didn't know if anyone would actually come, but it was the only hope I had. I felt like the smartest girl to ever exist. Meanwhile, the truck kept moving. Every minute that passed felt like an hour. I tried to think of escape plans, kicking out the window, jumping out at a red light, but we never stopped, and I kept hearing that gun shift around behind me, so I stayed still. It felt like there was at least 2 other people in the car, because it started getting so sweaty that I was struggling to breathe. Then the driver started humming, just casually humming like he was on a road trip. It made my skin crawl. "Almost there," he said again. The car slowed down and turned off what felt like a highway onto a smaller road. I squeezed my eyes shut under the blanket and tried to prepare myself for the worst. I expected to hear the sounds of children screaming, or even just an eerie silence, but then I heard something I wasn't expecting. Noise. A lot of it. The car stopped, the engine turned off, and then the blanket was ripped off my head. It took me a second to process what I was looking at, and then it hit me. "Welcome to Disneyland," the driver said, and then he unlocked the doors. I didn't move at first. I was too confused, but I pushed the door open and stumbled out onto the pavement, legs shaking, heart still racing, and that's when I heard it. "Happy birthday, my beautiful daughter." I spun around. My dad was standing there with the biggest smile on his face, and behind him, my friends came running around the corner, singing happy birthday at the top of their lungs. I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. I just stood there with my mouth open, and then 3 police cars came screeching into the parking lot. Officers jumped out with their hands on their weapons, yelling at the driver to get on the ground. My dad's face went white. He ran over waving his arms, shouting, "It's okay! It's okay! It's a surprise birthday party! I just did this to surprise her. I didn't think she'd call the police. The driver is her uncle. I'm her father." It took about 15 minutes to sort everything out. My dad showed his ID. The officers looked annoyed but also kind of amused. One of them patted me on the shoulder and said, "Happy birthday, kid," before they left. Once the chaos died down, my dad walked over to me. "You told me you wanted to feel like a kid again, so today we're going to your favorite place." I hugged him harder than I've hugged anyone in years. "Thanks, Dad, but next time maybe don't kidnap me."